Oh, yeah, you know the rules of engagement with Hit and Run. Just quick hits on all the stories of the day that have caught my eye. This one just came out, all right? This was a quick addition to the top. Adam Schefter reporting that Howie Roseman continues to do his work. He signed the linebacker Zach Bond, who was an absolute monster last year on a really low-end contract, a make-good contract. 3 years, $51 million. $34 million of it guaranteed, and that makes Bond one of the highest paid linebackers in the NFL. So a quick strike there by Howie Roseman. They did not want to lose this guy. He was the guy that really made the defense run and had such an unbelievable season for the Super Bowl champion Eagles. All right, so I love Kendrick Perkins, love him. But he made a comment the other day that I kind of want to push back against. You know, the Knicks have been struggling of late. They're 4-3 since the All-Star break, and Kendrick said that he feels that Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson should stop doing their podcast, the Roommates podcast. And I don't understand why. I mean, of all the things that players could be doing during their downtime, they could be having orgies for all you know. They're actually doing a harmless little podcast that actually is popular and well done. And they're going to have the Knicks owner, Jim Dolan, as their next guest. How does that impact how they play? I mean, you think they're staying up all night, like breaking down everything that they're going to ask the guest? It's free-flowing. It's really casual. I mean, really, if you think about what people could be doing behind closed doors during the hour that they tape this Roommates podcast, isn't the Roommates podcast, which is innocent, isn't that better than the things that players could be doing? I don't understand it. Aaron Boone, he said something the other day that made me scratch my head. He said he does not like the ABS system. That's the automated ball strike system, which isn't going to be in the big leagues this year anyway, but they're using it in spring training. And his excuse was, you know, it takes away something that we're really good at, which is framing. And that doesn't make sense to me. Just because you're good at something, don't you want the sport to be better? Because you only get 2 challenges a game, so framing still becomes a very, very important part of it. Again, just 2 challenges a game. Now, if Aaron does not want the ABS system, right, because he wants to take advantage of the Yankees' superiority in framing pitches, okay, then you can't argue about strike calls either against your hitters because it works both ways. Yeah, okay, it's a benefit for the Yankees that they have great guys that can frame. Well, other teams have guys that can frame as well. So when you get a bad strike call in a big spot against one of your hitters, aren't you going to say, gee, I wish that we had a challenge system? Doesn't make sense at all. I know it's another thing on a manager's plate. Get it. But this isn't on a manager's plate. The manager has no say in it. Pitcher, catcher, batter. Those are the only ones that could actually challenge. I think it's phenomenal. In fact, I would give 3 challenges a game. 2's not enough. And I think it adds some mystery to it. It adds some excitement to it, and it adds some strategy. When do you use your challenge? Do you use it early on a bad call? Do you wait till later? If you use the challenges early, do you then watch yourself get victimized by a bad call? It surprised me. It really did surprise me when he said that he doesn't like it. We just talked about St. John's. You know, they have 4 losses. They're 6th ranked in the country right now. And the 4 losses they have, a total of 7 points. That's how close they've come to being undefeated. Now, they also have 2 wins by a total of 4 points, too, against the same team. But this is a special team. But I thought that Rick Pitino said it very well in a radio interview the other day. We could get knocked out in the first round. We could go to the Final Four. Yeah, they could get victimized by the fact that they don't have outside shooting. Their defense is so good, it should play well in the postseason. But if you have one cold shooting night, you're going to get knocked out. It's one and done in the NCAA. I'd like to see them win a couple of games. You know, it's been 25 years since they won a tournament game. 25 years. Kind of amazing, right? Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo still doesn't have a job. And Anthony Rizzo was quoted the other day in a story, I think it was in The Athletic, saying, I'm not going to sign for less than the market value for somebody of my age because I don't want to affect other people. Now, that's all well and good, and certainly very, very kind to other players that might come up behind you. But what Anthony Rizzo also has to realize, he got a $6 million buyout from the New York Yankees. $6 million that he's making this year from the Yankees to buy out what was a $17 million contract. So if somebody offers him $3 million to play first base for them, he expects to get more than $9 million coming off the last 2 years. I mean, it's really a nice thing that he's doing for people that are coming up as first basemen. But do you want to play or not? You're going to give up your career because they're not making you offers that you think are commensurate to somebody who's 34 years old? But also, you've got to take an offer that's commensurate to what you earned the last couple of years. That's the big deal. Now, everybody's killing Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavericks, for what he did by trading Luka. Terrible. It'll go down as awful. But isn't it also one of the big strikes against him? He wouldn't give Jalen Brunson a 4-year, $55 million deal. Talk about a misread. I mean, they might not have had to make the Kyrie deal. So what you did by trading Luka is you put the team in the hands of Kyrie Irving, who has been injury prone. You had to play him so much because Anthony Davis was out, and then he finally tears his ACL. I feel sorry for Kyrie because, he's eligible for an extension. He could either opt into the last year of his contract or opt out, but who's going to sign somebody to a max contract coming off a major ACL injury? But again, Harrison also has to answer, why did you give away Jalen Brunson? Didn't you see exactly what he was? I've been touting the show Paradise on Hulu. The 8th and final episode of the first season came out yesterday. The first 7 episodes, to me, was about as good as TV could be. It was almost cinematic. And I got to tell you, everybody, I watched the final episode yesterday. A little letdown. It could have been better. It wasn't terrible, but it was such a high standard set in the first 7 shows that this one was, wow, that's it? That's all there is? That was a little bit of a disappointment for me. Just a little bit. Not terrible, but since I've been touting it, I also wanted to tell you the ending was not what I thought it was going to be.